Hey y'all, welcome back to Uncensored, Art and History They Want Erased, where we shine a light on the art and history the Trump regime would rather stuff back in a box. Today we're going to focus on the Smithsonian National Museum of American History, where whitehouse.org finds an exhibit features a depiction of the Statue of Liberty holding a tomato in her right hand instead of a torch, and a basket of tomatoes in her left hand instead of a tablet, to somehow be offensive. Here's the image. I'm going to leave that here, let you see it for a moment, see how horribly offensive that is. And now I'm going to read you an article directly from the Smithsonian National Museum of American History, which the whitehouse.gov has included as a hyperlink in its description of this offensive art. It's entitled New Americans and the Inspirational Lady in New York Harbor. New Americans and the Inspirational Lady in New York Harbor by Susan Ladashina. This was written June 25th, 2024. The iconic Statue of Liberty is one of the most recognizable figures in the world. She has long been a symbol of freedom and hope to Americans and past immigrants. But what does Lady Liberty mean to today's immigrants who aspire to become naturalized U.S. citizens? Lawful U.S. permanent residents, green card holders, hail from all continents, socioeconomic backgrounds, and levels of education. Some enroll in a citizenship preparation program before undergoing the U.S. naturalization interview plus English and civics test. As someone who has taught this course, I've found that class discussion of the Statue of Liberty prompts students to reflect on how their hopes and values relate to the statue's promise and the American experience. I've also discovered that sharing objects in the museum's collections make these class discussions even richer. Statue's early relationship to immigrants. The Statue of Liberty was dedicated on October 28, 1886, with speeches by President Grover Cleveland and other dignitaries. She was hailed as a gift from the French people to symbolize the friendship between two nations with democratic ideals. The president's speech celebrated the values of the Enlightenment and did not mention immigration. So how did the monument entitled Liberty Enlightening the World come to be known as a beacon of liberty welcoming immigrants? Her new and enduring identity was boosted by four developments. Her arrival coincided with a massive wave of European immigrants, more than 12 million, arriving by steamship from 1892 to 1924 to the United States through Ellis Island. Emma Lazarus's poem, The New Colossus, written on her pedestal since 1903, popularized her role as the mother of exiles. The U.S. government's posters featuring images of the statue and calling on new immigrants to support World War I efforts, and U.S. Liberty coins minted to commemorate the statue's 100th anniversary in 1986. What do today's green card holders think of the statue? My class interaction over several years have revealed that U.S. permanent residents are generally unaware of the French gift origin story. Instead, the statue is viewed as a symbol of hope and inspiration. To paraphrase a student from Mexico, the statue tells us that everyone who comes here is free and protected from mistreatment. A young woman from El Salvador exclaimed that she is liberty for everyone here now and also gives hope to all who will come. These citizenship preparation classes have included adults from 33 countries and from every continent except Oceania. This diverse group includes engineers, teachers, scientists, students, nannies, and construction workers, among many others. Yet I've found that sharing my Liberty coin set with its images of immigrants' safe arrival on America's shores elicits shared feelings of pride. What specific freedoms are they seeking? Discussions of the Statue of Liberty inevitably led to conversations on the meaning of freedom. Many U.S. permanent residents voice opinions that are readily understandable to native-born Americans. For example, a young woman from China said she came here to study and to reunite with her family. For both a Colombian woman and an Iranian man, freedom meant educational opportunities for their children. The ability to send their children to public schools was also echoed by a young couple from Brazil, who added happily that in America there are good roads to drive to the schools. The candid, earnest answers of other students often challenge me to see the United States in new ways. Personal safety is on the minds of many green card holders. For instance, an older woman from Guatemala confided that since living in the United States, she can walk on the street and not be afraid her necklace will be stolen. For a young man from the Ivory Coast, freedom is the lack of war. Others, including a Peruvian man, said what is most important is that in the United States there is respect for the law. Finally, some students expressed hopes that sounded familiar, but took on a new and poignant meaning because of their background. For example, several Ukrainians expressed the hope of making a better life for their kids and finding opportunities to work. These students have begun to prepare for U.S. citizenship before Russia's invasion of their homeland in February 2022. Do they feel welcome in the midst of current U.S. social and political tensions? A Gallup poll taken in June 2023 found that 68% of Americans think that immigration is a good thing for the country. However, the debate over who should be allowed entry continues. Adult students preparing for U.S. citizenship appear to be aware of the challenges they face. Once again, I've found that the image of an object from the museum's collections helps the class to focus conversation on a sensitive topic. The Immokalee Statue of Liberty is a papier-mâché sculpture made by Kat Rodriguez, a Latina artist, in support of a Florida coalition of agricultural workers seeking better wages and working conditions. This statue is both Lady Liberty and an advocate for immigrant workers. A young construction worker from El Salvador admitted in class that he faces inequality on the job. He revealed that he is discriminated against and called names because of his darker skin. But he remains optimistic and spoke eloquently about the Statue of Liberty's promise of freedom. Similarly, a student from Algeria expressed the hope that in the United States she can be both a Muslim and an American. She believes that you just have to obey the law. Are they prepared for U.S. citizenship? A 2018 survey by the Institute for Citizens and Scholars found that only 36% of adult Americans could pass the naturalization test administered by U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. In contrast, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services reports that just under 90% of U.S. permanent residents pass the naturalization test on their initial try. It's clear that in addition to understanding American history and civics, green card holders embrace values that coincide with the enduring American national identity, a pragmatic can-do mentality, optimism for the future, and an innate sense of fairness. So there you have it. And let's go back. Here's the image once again. So offensive, right? And here's what the caption under it says. The Immokalee Statue of Liberty is holding a tomato in her right hand instead of a torch, and a basket of tomatoes in her left hand instead of a tablet. Her bronze skin tone represents workers from Mexico and Central America who labor on U.S. farms. On her pedestal is the message, "I too am America." I'm also including a link here for a video entitled Reimagining a National Symbol, the Immokalee Statue of Liberty. It's only about a little over 4 minutes long. I highly encourage you to watch it. It's crazy. They're talking about farm workers picking 32 pounds of tomatoes for less than 50 cents and fighting for just a 1 penny raise. If you're interested in more, well worth watching. And if you enjoyed this, make sure to hit that subscribe button for me. I'm going to be continuing to share more of these until I exhaust the whitehouse.gov list, because history doesn't belong stuffed back in a box. It belongs out in the open, and that's what I'm doing here. Thanks, y'all. You have a great day. Bye.